Hello friends, welcome back again to the channel. I hope everyone is safe. In today's video, I would be talking about billing calculation for inbound process, which is very important to understand how we can do the billing calculation. In this video, we will talk about call-based billing, how we can bill the client depending on the number of calls have been answered. So now let's start with the video. So you can see on my screen that the billing calculation for the inbound process, and that would be the call-based billing. Call-based billing means that number of calls have been handled or have been answered by the call center. So on the basis of that, call center would bill all these calls to the client. After that, what are the components required for billing calculation for call-based? So first of all, you need to have the answered calls. So answered calls would be those calls that have been answered by the call center. After that, we have AHT actual and billable. So the difference between AHT actual is that the actual AHT that is happening, that is going on in the call center. It could be anything related to the process. If it's a technical process, the AHT would be higher. If it's a customer services, AHT would be, lower, 300, 400 seconds as compared to the technical process where AHT can be 800 seconds, 900 seconds. So the AHT actual would be the actual AHT which is going on, and the AHT billable that has been set by the client. Suppose the actual AHT target is 400 seconds and the client says that client can only pay for the actual, and the client can only pay for the AHT that is 380 seconds. After that, we have short abandoned calls. Short abandoned calls which are that have been abandoned within threshold. So the threshold could be 5 seconds or 10 seconds, depending between the agreement of call center or the client. I have already made videos on answered calls, AHT, short abandoned calls. So if you want to know more about it, please try to watch all these videos. After that, we have call per price. It means that for one call, how many dollars a client can pay. I hope that is clear. So now let's go to the calculation part. What we have answered calls, I have taken 10,000, AHT actual 400 seconds, AHT billable 380 seconds, dollar per connect minutes. That would be 1.5. That's the call price. Short abandoned calls, I have taken 65. So now let's do the calculation. How we can find out the billable calls. So to find out the billable calls, what we can do, we can just simply have the answered calls minus your short abandoned calls. That is your 65. So the billable calls would be 9,935 calls. So it is again depending on the contract between the contact center, the call center, or between the client, if they want to include the short abandoned calls into the answered calls or not. If they do not include it, so we have to simply minus from the answered calls. And how we can calculate the billable time? So we have to calculate the billable time in seconds. So that would be the billable calls and multiplied by your AHT billable, that would be a 380 seconds. So total billable time would be 3775300. You are wondering that why I have multiplied by 380 seconds. Why not by 400 seconds? So generally what happens that the client has given the target that AHT could be built, and that would be a 380 seconds. If the AHT is going above 380 seconds, so only the AHT billable would be considered. In case if the actual AHT is less than 380 seconds, suppose actual AHT is 350 seconds, so in the calculation actual AHT would be taken. So simple calculation would be, if the actual AHT is below the billable AHT, that would be considered actual AHT. If the actual AHT is more than the AHT billable, then AHT billable would be considered. I hope that is clear. Now we have to find out the connect minutes. And to do that, we have to simply divide it by 60. We would be having the connect minutes. Now we have to find out the final calculation. What would be the final amount on the basis of 10,000 calls that have been answered by the call center. So what should be the amount to be billed to the client? The simple formula would be your connect minutes multiplied by the call per price. That would be a 1.5. So here that would be the invoicing amount. I hope you like the video. Please subscribe and share for more.